Hello everyone and welcome back to Joy. We are here together again to practice mindfulness, and in particular we are going to practice a mindful movement today. Before we do that, let's remember what mindfulness is. So we have said many times together that at its most basic, mindfulness is the ability to pay attention on purpose to the present moment and to all of your thoughts and feelings that are related to that moment, so related to whatever is happening. However, there's a little more, and this might be the hardest part. As we pay attention to how we are thinking and feeling about whatever is happening, we try to do so without responding or reacting to what is happening. So in this way, mindfulness creates a pause between whatever is happening and how we might react to that. And you can imagine how, especially in stressful situations in our everyday lives, this could be very helpful to us, because so often, myself included, we respond to things that are happening right away without really giving ourselves a moment to make a very intentional choice about what we're going to say or do. And so sometimes those quick responses can really create bigger problems for us and maybe for others as well. And so in mindfulness, we learn to just pay attention a little bit more closely to how we're thinking and feeling, and then trying to make good choices about what we will say or do about those thoughts and feelings. And sometimes also, maybe those thoughts and feelings will just pass too. They might just kind of not stick around long and go away if we give them a chance to do that. And we may not have to respond in any way at all. That's always an option too. Okay, so in order to do something like that in our everyday lives, when we're interacting with others and just with the world, we do things like this to try to help us practice. So to really practice slowing down, paying attention to thoughts and feelings, and to practice just pausing and just being for a little while without saying or doing anything else. So what we're going to practice today is the mindful movement and pose called child's pose. And you probably already know this pose. You could probably get into child's pose right now. Most people do know what it looks like. But I would like you to practice it today really mindfully. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this with me, or maybe at first you just watch and then afterwards you practice it on your own. What I'm going to do is very mindfully move into child's pose, very mindfully be in child's pose, and then very mindfully exit child's pose. And as I do that, I'm also going to talk to you and tell you what it is that I'm doing so that you can do that too. You can practice that when you leave this video, okay? So normally I would not be talking. Normally I would be doing maybe everything that you're seeing, but not saying anything about it. For this purpose, I will be talking too. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn to the side because I think that will be a better way for you to see what I'm doing. The first thing, and I'm not going to look at you anymore now because I would normally in child's pose be looking in front of me. So the first thing I'll do is bend my knees and sit back on my feet with the tops of my feet firmly planted on the ground in front, or on the ground underneath me, okay? And then you can keep your knees together or you can spread them wide apart. It's up to you. I like to spread my knees wide apart, so I'm going to spread my knees apart, and if you do that, you keep your big toes touching, and then you just gently place your palms on your legs. If your legs were together instead, it would just look like this. And you just sit up tall and set your gaze on some spot in front of you, or close your eyes. And then we're just going to take one deep breath in and one long breath out. And then from here, I'm just going to simply place my palms down on the earth in front of me. If my legs were together, I might just place my palms on my legs. And then I'm going to start lowering my body all the way down towards the earth. So I'm just going to start walking my hands out and making my arms as long as they can go, as far away from me as possible, keeping my tailbone, so this part of the body, back at my feet if I can. And I'm just walking my fingers as far as they will go and planting my palms down, and then aligning my neck up with my spine, so my neck and my spine stay in line, And then starting to lower down. So lowering my belly, lowering my heart, my shoulders, and then lastly, my head or my brow touches the earth. And then while I am there in that child's pose, I'm just going to take some deep breaths and be quiet. So that's what I would do in child's pose. I would just be quiet and be still and breathe. And then I'll show you how we might really mindfully, so very intentionally, exit child's pose. So leave child's pose. So I'm going to go back to it. Imagine that we just took some really deep breaths. We got super quiet and super still. And then we would come out of child's pose really gently. So we might start by first just picking up the head, lining it back up with the spine, and then just gently walking the hands back in towards the body. Sitting up really tall again, bringing the shoulders down and back. If the legs were apart, just bringing them back together, and then maybe placing the hands on the lap. Or you could maybe fold your hands one on top of the other and place them in your lap that way. And then maybe one more deep breath in and out. And then that would be the end of your mindful movement. And that was just one opportunity to take a pause out of our everyday lives and learn to just get quiet and still, and just not to do anything but notice our thoughts and our feelings, and just pay attention to our body and our breathing. All right, so I'm going to leave you and ask you to try that for yourself. And also, happy Earth Day.